Welcome to Creative Wandering, the home of videos for daily creatives. This is a place where I want to just share what's going on every week with my life. And right now we're in week 34 of our traveling family experiment that continues to take up a lot of all of my time actually, both with planning and keeping the family on track and cooking meals and planning what we're going to do in each stop. So there's just a lot of work still for me. Head over to dailycreatives.com. That's where I live most of the time. I have a Facebook page called Daily Creatives. There's some interesting things posted there. But by and large, the hub of my work is hosted on dailycreatives.com. Here we are in Moncopa, Spain. It's Easter Sunday and I'm winging it here. Just like traveling demands of me and the family in a number of different circumstances, I have no microphone on the top of the camera. I tried to use it last week and it was making this clicking noise, which I couldn't really hear in playback, but once I got to the computer, I could totally hear it. That's a problem for another day. I've done some quick research online and I'm not entirely sure if I maybe didn't buy the right microphone for this camera, or if in fact this is just the wrong choice of camera for doing this kind of video production. Anyways, wanted to highlight some of the interesting things, some of the fun creative things that we've been doing as we've been traveling around. This week, the most important thing that we did is we finished booking the entire trip. So we're leaving tomorrow to drive to France, and then we spend a week in France in Provence, and then 2 weeks all through Italy, and ending the end of the second week in Venice, and then down into Split, Croatia, and Dubrovnik, where at the end of April we're going to meet my sister, who's coming from Calgary, and we're going to spend some time there and then go on to Istanbul for a week. We leave her, she goes back home, and we go to Greece. I might have a quick weekend to visit my girlfriends to Stockholm in there. June 7th, we fly to the UK and visit an old work friend and his family in Manchester and for a few days, and then down to London for our last 3 days of the trip. This morning when we went to some caves that are close by this house where we're staying, and they are since prehistoric times. So, I mean, it was just an amazing experience. There's a river that flows through and you get on these boats and you just meander through. And I mean, the boat goes so close to the top of the caves that you have to like duck down like this. And like, you just have to have your wits about you. Otherwise you're gonna get your head smacked. So cooking a chicken dinner, this big 5-pound chicken. That's the closest thing we're going to get to a turkey. Doing some roast potatoes, some vegetables, and that'll be our Easter Sunday family feast. We saw a bit of a parade in town today, which was kind of fun, in and around noon, I guess. Not really up on what all the celebrations typically are for Easter Sunday, but we know we're in a heavy-duty Catholic region, so obviously it's a pretty important holiday here. This week we decided to spend some time getting prepared. A lot of groceries that are typical for the kinds of meals that we would make at home, and then made up menu plans and have done a really good job of sticking to them. It's done a couple of things. One, I don't have to wing it. I can just make stuff that I know we're gonna like. And even if the ingredients are a little bit atypical for here and we have to spend a bit more money to get them, it makes life so much easier. So making tacos here, for example, salsa costs $5 or $6 a jar, which tomato sauce costs $1. So, you know, it's not a typical ingredient for here. You can get it, but it's a little bit more expensive to eat that way. By far, it's been so much nicer than trying to eat typical Spanish food. The other thing that we've been doing this week is Grant and I have been watching Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. Hilarious. If you have a chance to watch it on Netflix, you should head over there. We've seen some great comics being interviewed, and he just takes it easy, has a really cool time picking a great car to match his guest, and they drive around, get coffee, and chat about being comics and comedians. I think we have found our groove as a traveling family, which has been the only thing that really ties us to the day of the week is the days that we have to drive and we have to move. And as you can see behind me here, today is packing day. So it's time to put everything back into the bag. And because we're driving around in our van, we have a cooler and boxes of sort of pantry items and different food items. Tomorrow's Easter Monday, and the host in Provence warned us that the grocery stores won't be open when we arrive in our little town of Loris. So we've got all the ingredients for dinner tomorrow night ready to go. So as soon as we arrive, we can just make dinner right away, and we know exactly what we're doing, and we have everything. Kids are getting lots of schoolwork done, and I think they might be okay. There was a point when we weren't quite sure that they were going to get enough done to advance the school year, but it looks like that's taken care of. If you're interested in what I've been up to, besides the weekly videos, which I'm trying to get down to a much shorter period of time to get them made and online, is I've been writing 2 times a week on Daily Creatives, and also there's a link there to Words on the Web, which is all the places where I've been published besides my blog. And there's been quite a few. Thrive Global is one, and At 45 is another great place where I've been being published. And it's been a lot of fun to do that. I'm also halfway through my travel planning book, so I'm feeling like it's going to be an interesting project, and I can't wait to share more about that as it shapes up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy our adventure. Stay tuned because there's lots of interesting things coming up. As I've said before, dailycreatives.com is where you can find me, or check back next week for another video installment. And if you want to make sure you don't miss it, then hit the red subscribe button.